Hello friends, you're with a Lonesome Gamer, and today I want to play Cthulhu, Death May Die. And now the plan is, the game is divided in scenarios. This box comes with 6 scenarios, and then we got here or there's Season 2 that also offers 6 scenarios. So overall I got 12 scenarios right now, and well, I backed the new Kickstarter, Fear of the Unknown, and that will offer a ton of additional stuff. And my plan is basically to play through all the scenarios. First these, and then, well, I hope in time, in a few months, we can then expect to the Kickstarter, the new stuff to arrive. So I'm not going to play through all 12 scenarios at once. My idea was to play 2 scenarios, then do something else. After that, come back to this, do another 2 scenarios, and so on. And that will keep us busy for a while, as I said. And then I hope maybe in the, I don't know, in the first quarter of the next year or so, maybe we can already hope for the arrival of the new Kickstarter. Well, before I'm gonna go into this, I just wanna let you know that I have now a Patreon account. So if you want to support the channel, you have now the option to do that. Lonesome Gamer that's basically the account. I don't want to do anything exclusive or special there. I know that doesn't make it terribly attractive, but I also want to basically give everyone the option to see my content, and well, it's ad-free. There is no sponsor or anything. But if you want to support the channel, there is now a way to do so. So now let's take a closer look at the game. One thing I think is really cool about this, the box contains, as I already mentioned, 6 scenarios, and then it has 2 older ones. One of them is at the moment not here, it's in the other room because I'm just painting it. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a bit like this, you know, that's kind of how it looks like. And what you can do is you can simply pick one of these scenarios and then combine it with any one of the older ones that we already have. So there is a lot of replayability because you get a lot of combinations, obviously. And if you just take one of these, for example, this is the first one here. I mean, it looks really nice. It has this nice picture. And then you can see here on the back, all these scenario packs come with their own content. They have their specific cards and some specific markers and tokens and all. So it's not like that you have this huge massive box like in some other games where you have, I don't know, 500 cards, and then you have to shuffle all these 500 cards and build, I don't know, 30 different stacks and all that to set the game up. Here you just pick one box and one old one, and that gives you pretty much all you have. And then there are very few components that come in this one here that are used for every scenario, like for example the dice or something. But this is really, this is easy to get on the table, and I like that modular system which allows you to do all these combinations. Okay, so we're pretty much ready to go. I know it's a really popular game. For a long time it wasn't on my radar for some reason, so I kind of missed that for a couple of years. But yeah, as I mentioned, it's pretty high in the ranking of BGG, and I assume that most of you probably know that, but I still want to go over the rules while I'm playing. And so first I want to explain what is actually the way to lose it and what our goal is. So you can see here the track, and usually, oops, this card is going to be placed here. Let's do that for now. Okay, and they tell you that here you should place the miniature of Cthulhu, but I think that looks pretty ridiculous. So I'm going to have simply this marker here. And in general, the idea is that there is some kind of ritual going on, and in this specific scenario you have the cultists in a two-store house. This is the first level. This is, I guess, the basement. And there are all kind of laboratories here. We got 5, 1, 2, 3, and then over here 4, 5. And they're doing some weird, I don't know, chemical processes, some hidden alchemy, and that should eventually wake Cthulhu. In most Lovecraftian games, your goal is to kind of prevent that from happening. So you don't want the Elder One to awake. You want to destroy any gates, any options that could bring him to life and or that could awake him and just leave him in his eternal slumber. That's the basic idea. But here it's different. We are complete lunatics, and our goal is actually to awake him, but we want to awake him in a weakened state so that we can kill him. And the only way we can win this game is by killing Cthulhu. And to do this, again, it depends on the scenario. In this scenario, we have, and this is this is written here, what we have to do to disrupt the ritual. We have to destroy 4 of the 5 laboratories. If that happened, Cthulhu will immediately spawn, and then we can try to attack him and eventually try to kill him. However, the other guys, as I mentioned, are trying to do a ritual in a more elaborated way, and they, when they manage to awake Cthulhu before we do, then he will be invulnerable and we cannot attack him. And so after every turn, what we are going to do is we're going to draw a Mythos card. And the majority of these cards shows this symbol here. And whenever there are 3 cards with this symbol on the discard pile, then this goes 1 space ahead. And when this reaches this red area, so at that point, then the ritual is basically successful and Cthulhu will spawn, but we cannot attack him. So our goal at that point is still to disrupt the ritual and still to destroy these laboratories, but now Cthulhu will be on the board and it's going to be harder to do all these things. If at some point this goes to the very end and we did not manage to kill Cthulhu, then we've lost the game. In addition, you can see here, these are our characters, and I'll go into them in a minute a little deeper. These can obviously die or go insane. So if one of our characters dies or goes insane before we disrupted the ritual, we've also lost immediately. Once we did disrupt the ritual, we can actually lose one of the characters. The other guy can continue on their own. But of course, if both of them are eventually dead or insane, then the game also ends. So that's the thing. Both characters dead or insane, or this thing here at the very end. This is pretty much what loses us the game, and we can win by killing Cthulhu. So we are playing a two-player game here, or a game with two characters, and that is also suggested in the rules. If you play solitaire, they suggest to use two characters, and it works really well that way. So our first character is Fatima, and let's go and read the backstory quickly. So Fatima Zafar from Alexandria, Egypt. Admittedly, old ones' names are easier to read than say. While anyone with a working knowledge of the occult may read simple signs in the bones, stars, or tarot, these are but children's books for Fatima Zafar. Her ability to connect dozens of minor phenomena into accurate prophecy is unparalleled in modern times. The future is not set until it becomes the past, and for an investigator of Fatima's skill, even a few minutes of warning can divert events away from potential catastrophe, whether that be through preparing a proper trap or simply running the other way as fast as she can. Well, okay. So she is kind of an occult seer, and we'll get into her abilities while we're playing. It doesn't make a lot of sense to explain them now when you don't know the rules, so we'll get into this during play. The kid. Okay, so all she has to offer is some crazy laughter, and I'm not going to try to do that. Her origins are unknown. Except for a gleeful cackle, the kid, as she has become known, makes no other sound. She's something of a mystery to investigators, and her knowing gaze and 1,000-yard stare speak to a potential age far beyond her diminutive stature. She has no apparent need of guardians or guidance in her one-child campaign against the cults and their otherworldly allies. She shows a special affinity for interdimensional gateways, gaining obvious strength and acumen from the proximity. This could hint at a supernatural origin for the kid, but her glees in destroying said gates and the beings they summon speaks to no allegiance. Okay. So, in addition, Fatima suffers from kleptomania. Every investigator gets one random mental illness, so she suffers from kleptomania. Steal at least one item, companion, or a tradable episode token from any investigator in your space to heal all of your stress. If you can't steal anything, take 2 stress. So this is something that will be triggered whenever the sanity track passes or reaches one of these spaces. And you will see exactly how that works a little later. And this here is masochism. So each time you take a wound, put the same number of wound tokens on this card. If there are no tokens on this card, take 1 wound. Otherwise, remove all tokens from this card and heal 1 stress per token removed. Okay. And so yeah, I guess we're ready to go. We shuffled the Mythos card. We shuffled the specific scenario-specific discovery cards, which are basically items and allies. And we've set up the board. All the the creatures are already placed on the board. You can see there's also a lot of fire here. And this is here the starting space with Fatima and the kid. See here on the back, so you don't have a scenario book or anything, you really just have these boxes, which is something I really like. I already mentioned that. And you can see on the back the setup instructions, and on the front you got some background story and also some special rules. So let's get into this. What's worse than cultists? Cultists who've set the place on fire. As you can see here, for example. Another night and another damn ritual to summon an elder god. If we blow up their labs, we can cause a lot of trouble for whatever it is they are summoning. So we already mentioned that. To disrupt the ritual, destroy 4 of the 5 labs by dealing 4 or more total wounds to them with the destroy equipment action. Then there is a special rule what happens when the Elder One advances. So basically when this marker here moves 1 space ahead, and we're going to go there if that happens. So we get 2 special actions in this scenario. Extinguish fire. Make a roll. Remove 1 fire token in your space for each success. And then destroy equipment. Make a roll against a lab in your space. This doesn't count as an attack. Each success deals 1 wound to the lab. When a lab has 4 or more wounds, destroy it and turn over the lab token to reveal its effect. Yeah, so these labs have different effects on the backside, and this is also randomized. I don't know which one is where. Okay, so the overall rules are actually pretty simple. And we're just going to go through that while we're playing. So the investigators simply alternate with their turn. Each one completes the turn before the other one starts. And now at the... we start with Fatima, and she has now 3 actions. There are... And you can see that here. It's really, really well done. You got pretty much all the important informations written down here. So she can either run, which allows her to move 3 spaces. She can attack a single enemy. She could rest, but she could only do this in a space where there is no enemy. And that would allow her to heal. She could trade equipment with other investigators, or she could do these episode actions, extinguish fire or destroy equipment. And she can do 3 of these actions. She can do them multiple times if she wants to, and she can do them also in any order she wants to do that. Now she's got the swiftness, and you can see here this kind of shows the actual level. You can improve these with an increasing loss of sanity. So right now she's got the first level of swiftness here, and that says when you run you may move 1 additional space. So usually she could only move through 3 spaces, but she is allowed to move 4 spaces. Now, and I guess this is what I want to do. I want to move, and usually when you run, you simply move from 1 space into an adjacent space, and adjacency is shown here by these arrows. There are these connections here. You can also see here there is this white arrow. This is not so easy to see, for example. And wherever there are these connections, there is an adjacency, and there you can move into the other space. For example, let me see. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky. No, I think it's here. It's usually not that bad. here it's, I mean, yeah, no, it's okay here. Sometimes it's a little hard to see. Here, for example, and sometimes you have a door on one side and you don't have it on the other side, depending on the scenario. But this is not the case here. So, yeah. Now, here we have a staircase. So this room is adjacent to this room. We have also a staircase marker here. I didn't place them on the board. I don't want too much clutter on the board. So you can simply move from here to here. And whenever you leave a space where there are enemies, these enemies will simply follow you. So if I would move from here and then from here to here, these guys would simply all come with me, and now I had 3 enemies here in that space. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm simply going to move in here and then try to kill these 2 guys. They will attack me if they are still in that space with me after my actions, basically. But right now I still have 2 actions left. So the first one is my movement action. I move in here, and now I got 2 actions left, and I can use them to destroy these guys. So with my second action, I'm going to now attack this guy. I can only always target a single enemy. And attack is pretty simple. You roll your dice pool, which is at the beginning only these 3 black dice. And each exclamation mark that shows up is a success. And a success is a hit. And these guys, as you can see here, these are the cultists. They have 2 health. So if you do 2 hits to these guys, then they die. And these will accumulate, so they don't go away after a roll or something. The wounds stay on the miniature, and you use these markers to indicate that. Okay, so the second action, and let's attack these guys. And by the way, she has the Arcane Mastery. And that says when making any roll, you may count 1 Elder Sign as a success. So you can see here there are also Elder Sign symbols. And for her, one of them would also count as a success. So let's go on. Okay, so we already have 3 successes, and then we have this tentacle here. And that tentacle indicates that we have to take one sanity loss. I'm just wondering, I'm going to do that. I have the option to re-roll dice. And we have here, this is our stress track, this one here. And we could spend a stress to re-roll a single die. Just one, not all of them. And we could do that as long as we have stress that we could spend. But I think I'm going to accept that. Losing a little bit of sanity is not such a big deal. Later in the game, it will be more problematic. So we killed one guy. Nice. This guy goes away. And now we're going to attack the other one. And that was bad. So now I'm kind of happy to have a couple of rerolls left. So I'm going to spend 1 stress. And I'm going to reroll this one. Okay, fuck. I'm going to spend the other stress. Okay, so that was 1 success. So now, you know what? I'm going to spend another stress and reroll one of these. Ah, that was lucky. Okay, great. So we managed to kill the guy. Sadly, we had to spend a ton of stress to do that. And that's not really that good. But okay. So these were my 3 actions, and now we have to draw a Mythos card. Okay. So that says Astral Promise. Oh, wait a minute. You may put the first Mythos card you draw each turn at the bottom of the deck and draw again. If you do, heal 2 stress. That's kind of cool. Move the nearest cultist to your space and choose one. Add a relay token to your space. If there's one already there, add it to the nearest space without one. Or lose 2 sanity. I don't think this is something I want to take. So I'm going to place this at the bottom of the deck. And I'm going to draw another one. And that allows me to heal 2 stress. Let's see what we get. Star Spawn. So first of all, we got this symbol here. And as I already explained, when 3 of these symbols show up on the discard pile, the old one will advance. Move the Star Spawn 2 spaces towards you. Then each investigator in its space loses 1 sanity. Well, the Star Spawn is not on the board, so there is no effect here. And now summon a Star Spawn on the red gate, which is up here. So we take the Star Spawn and it shows up here on the red gate, possibly by some ugly ritual summoned by this guy here. Okay, nice. So now the next step is investigate or fight. So if there would be now any enemies on our space, they would attack. But because that's not the case, I have to investigate the space, so I'm going to draw a discovery card. And that is a Furious Student. He can't hurt me anymore, I have a gun. You may take 1 wound to claim either the Furious Student or the pistol. So now we got to decide that. We could claim Chester. You cannot have both Chester and the Professor as companions. Discard 1. Okay, well, the Professor is not there. And that guy would give us 3 additional life points. Or we could use the pistol, or take the pistol. When attacking, gain 1 die. If you have the marksman skill, gain 2 green dice instead. And you see here, she does have the marksman skill. So that's pretty neat. So I will spend a wound and take the pistol. There we go. And now we have some end of turn effects, but there are none. For example, if now there would be 3 of these red symbols here, then the old one would advance. But right now this is not the case. So there's no effect here. So we proceed with the kit. Now the kit has marksman. So I actually think I want to give her the pistol. So what I'm going to do is simply I'm going to move with her into this space here. As a second action, I want to trade these items and give her the pistol. Now, I gotta say, this is a little slow, but I think we can afford to do that. It's at the start of the game, and it will give her a significant advantage. And when we use Fatima's ability, Read the Omens, we have a chance to slow down the game a little bit by not, by sometimes maybe discarding these red symbols and instead using or choosing another card. So now we got 1 action left, and I think I simply will attack a cultist. So I got marksman, which means you may attack from 1 space away. So I could now shoot this guy, for example, with my pistol. That means now I get also my basic 3 black dice, but in addition now I get these 2 green dice. The big advantage of the green dice is they do not have these tentacle symbols. So now we got, and she also has the arcane mastery, which means she also gets, she can count 1 arcane symbol as a success. So she is really strong already. The pistol is really amazing for her. And that was an easy win. Now I'm going to re-roll this one. Nah. Should I re-roll again? I kind of want to avoid that, but you know, I take it. I take the damage, the sanity loss, but we easily managed to destroy the cultist. And that's it. Now we got to draw a Mythos card. Okay. That is a buyer key. That's not good. Each buyer key moves directly into your space. That kind of sucks. We got one over here, sitting in this space, and she now moves directly in here. And then, in addition, we got to summon another buyer key on the red gate. So over here again, the red gate, this guy is really working hard, summoning all these monsters. And now that's not cool, because at that point we are no longer in a safe space, because now we have an enemy with us. So that means we get attacked by this guy and we are not allowed to draw a discovery card, which is a shame. And you can see here the buyer key has a special ability. When it attacks, each arcane or each elder sign also counts as a success. And we see here it attacks with 2 green dice and a single black die. And now again the exclamation marks count as successes against us and will deal a wound, and the tentacles will make us lose sanity. Oh, that was a terrible attack. That was a horrible attack. I take basically 3 wounds and lose a sanity. Now what I can do, I'm going to spend a stress and I'm going to force him to reroll this one here, which is 3 wounds. Okay, it's still 1. So, okay, I'm going to take 2 wounds and lose a sanity. That was really a painful attack. But, okay, I mean, we can heal next turn, I hope. So now it's Fatima again, and there's no question that she has to attack the buyer key here. So the buyer key has 3 wounds, or has 3 health, so it's not that easy to kill. We got our arcane mastery, so let's hope for the best here. And that was not the best at all. I'm gonna reroll this one, spend a stress. Okay, so these were at least 2 wounds. Now I wonder if I should try to reroll again, and you know what, I'm gonna do that. Okay, great. So we managed to kill it. I'm gonna lose another sanity, which isn't great. I want to rest. That costs, I can do this because I am in a safe space. There is no enemy with me now. And when I rest, I can heal 3 resources basically in any combination. So I want to basically heal a wound and 2 stress. Okay, so that's also an action. And I spent 2 actions. The first one was the attack. The second one was now this. And now I will move to the first lab. So it's Fatima's miniature, and she has the swiftness, which allows her to move 1 additional space. So I can move 1. And this space contains a fire token. When you leave a space with a fire token, you have to place a fire token on your character. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move into this lab room here. I don't take a fire token from here because I'm not leaving this space. Only from here. Okay, so that's that. And now we got to draw a card. And it says conflagration. Add 1 fire token to your space and to each adjacent space. And it also comes with one of these. I don't like this. I'm going to discard this card to the bottom. Yeah, we already have 2 of this. That's important. There are already 2. So if I draw another one, then at the end of this turn, Cthulhu would advance. So I'm going to place this at the bottom, which allows me to heal 2 stress. So I only have 1, of course. And we draw another one, and yeah, that we have another symbol here. Crawling chaos. Each cultist moves 1 space towards you. If you are in a relay space, lose 1 sanity. That is not the case. Relay space are these specific markers that will come into play later. And then, so first we got to move each cultist 1 space toward me. Now that means this guy moves here, this guy moves here, and this guy moves down there. And then we got to summon cultists, 1 in the yellow and 1 in the red space gate. So that means we got an additional guy here. And we got, again, 1 guy here. Okay. I'm still in a safe space. There's no enemy. So I will draw a discovery card. And it says, up to no good. The professor, he asked me to help. I'm not in trouble, am I? The student holds a beaker. If you have a guilty conscience, take 1 stress. Well, we don't have that. You may take 2 stress to claim either the grad student or the beaker. So Charles, the grad student, gives us a life point and gain 2 green dice to extinguish a fire. That's not bad. Or the beaker, you may discard this card to deal wounds to all labs and figures, either in your space, including you, or an adjacent space. Each target takes wounds equal to the number of fire tokens in their space. Well, I don't know. This is not bad. I'm not sure which... It's a tough choice. So first I'm going to definitely take this. I'm going to spend 2 stress, but I'm not sure which one is better. It's really a tough choice. Usually I'm a friend of... I prefer things that I can use more than once. So I'm going to go with Charles, the grad student. And he also gives me a life point. So let's take this guy. Especially at the start of the game, it's maybe useful if you collect stuff that you can use more than once. Okay, so that was the investigator fight, and now we're gonna go to the end of turn effect, and there are 2 things. First, I gotta roll for the fire token that I have here. So for every fire token that is on my character sheet, I gotta roll a die, a black die, and apply the result. Okay, that is nothing. Nothing happens. Pretty good. And now, because we have 3 of these here, that means the old one advances. So this goes here, and now we got to follow the instructions here on the board. So it says here, when Cthulhu advances, put a relay token on your space. There's already a token there. Put it in the nearest space that doesn't have one. Summon a cultist on each relay space. Move the star spawn 1 space toward you. If it is not on the board, summon it on a blue gate. Okay, so there's quite a bit going on. First we have to take a relay token. This one here. And we place it here. And you can see there's a lot of clutter here on the board. Then we have to spawn a cultist on the space. He doesn't attack now because this is now at the end of the turn. He would have attacked during this investigator fight situation, but that is not right now. And then we got to move the star spawn 1 space toward us. So let's make some room. It goes down here, or up here, up the stairs, I guess. And this guy is already showing the way. And I think this is it then. Yeah. So we're done here. And we can remove this fire token. And that was her turn. So now let's do the kit. And I'm not sure if I want to go to this space or to that space. I really don't know. Maybe I go here, because then I'm adjacent to this, and sometimes there's a lot of monsters showing up here, and we could then use our marksmanship to attack that space. So let's do this. I gotta move 1, 2, 3. Gotta take a fire token. And yeah, then I got 2 more actions. I will attack the laboratory. So actually this is not an attack. This is simply the destroy equipment. So I'm not allowed to use the pistol to do that. I'm simply going to roll my 3 main dice. I could consider healing, and maybe, you know what, I'm going to do that. I want to rest first. So I'm going to heal 2 here and 1 here. And now I'm going to attack the laboratory. Well, these are already 2 successes. When making any roll, you may count 1 elder sign as a success. So we dealt 2 successes, or 2 damage to the laboratory. I'm going to place 2 wound markers here to indicate that. And this is the end of my turn. The movement, the rest, and the vandalism in the laboratory. And oh, we got to shuffle these cards back into the deck. Forgot about that. And then we're going to draw a new Mythos card. Okay, let's see what we get. The thing that should not be. If Cthulhu is on the board, each investigator loses 1 sanity. If Cthulhu is on the track, which is the case technically, I mean he's sitting there, each investigator takes 2 stress. So that means here we go, 2 stress and 2 stress. Not good. For every stress you cannot take 1 wound instead. Okay. Not that good, but on the other hand, it's not one with a symbol of that, so that's always a good thing. You have a little more time that way. Okay, The problem is now we can draw a discovery card, but we only have 1 stress left. So there are some cards that kind of want you to spend 2 stress, and we can't do this. Luckily, this is not the case here. Fire equipment. This should come in handy. You may claim the fire extinguisher or claim the fire axe. So that the fire axe, when attacking, gain 1 green die if you have the brawling skill. Well, we don't have that, so that doesn't help us. Or the fire extinguisher, gain 2 green dice to extinguish a fire. Yeah, why not? Let's do this. So, similar to the student here, except that he adds some health. Okay, so that's that. Then we get a fire marker, so we get a roll. And that is a success. So I take a wound, remove the marker, and we're at the end of the turn. Okay, I'm going to load this up now. I gotta say, I think until now, we are doing okay. Our sanity problems are under control. We are now both working each on one of these laboratories, and the time is also still okay, so it's not looking bad for the moment, but of course the game just started, and things can go wrong really quickly in this game. Okay, so yeah, hope to see you in the next video. Now I can say, if you want to support my channel, you can go on my Patreon page, and bye. You know, I actually realized I made a mistake. When the Elder One advanced, I forgot to do this. Place 1 fire token in each space that has any cultist and no fire. So let's do that. I'm pretty sure it was this one here. And probably also that one. And also this one, I guess. So, yeah, they are burning the house down. And that doesn't make it easier. Okay, so see you in the next video. Bye.